Hi, friend, greetings from my channel again. May God bless you. Please click the bell symbol and subscribe to the channel to receive news updates. What many thought would never happen tonight has suddenly rocked the most renowned private family in the country to its foundation. Anna Duggar has finally left after years of heartache, controversy, and quiet. The seven-time mother and her disgraced husband, Josh Duggar, have formally filed for divorce. While there was silence in the courtroom, the sound of children sobbing filled the hallways of their Arkansas home. Why did things reach this breaking point? What will happen to Anna and her children next? Our group possesses the emotional information. What many thought would never happen tonight has suddenly rocked the most renowned private family in the country to its foundation. Anna Duggar has finally left after years of heartache, controversy, and quiet. The mother of seven has formally filed for divorce from Josh Duggar, whose moral failings and criminal convictions have plagued their marriage for a long time. While the courtroom remained quiet, the sound of children sobbing reverberated around their Arkansas house. Hallways. What caused this tipping point? And what will happen to Anna and her children next? The emotional details belong to our team. When Anna Duggar quietly and resolutely stepped onto the marble floor of a small Washington County courthouse just after 9 a.m., she appeared more like a lady bearing the burden of survival than a television personality, dressed simply in navy blue with her hair tied back in a tight bun. The documents were signed and stamped quickly, and the words, "irreconcilable differences," were inscribed on them. The document of a marriage that had survived 10 years of ruin. Although she didn't speak to the cameras, her eyes conveyed a narrative that no screenplay could ever fully capture. America sees a different Anna tonight. A mother, a guardian who ultimately opted for freedom over fear, clarity over uncertainty, and tranquility over performance. Not the faithful wife who supported her through every public humiliation. It was a completely different tale inside the family's once beautiful Arkansas house. Neighbors reported that the seven children were distraught. According to reports, some people sobbed into their pillows. Others, bewildered and afraid, held on to Anna. This is how one witness put it. It was like seeing the instantaneous breakdown of innocence. Their words were audible through the walls. "Why isn't Daddy returning?" We am told that Anna held each of them individually that day for as long as they required. Her voice cracked with fatigue, but she reassured him in whispers. 4 years, she has raised them largely by herself, keeping them out of the news, from the stillness at school pickup lines to the murmurs at church. However, she is no longer sheltering today. She's moving forward. Let's examine how we got here in more detail. Hope was the beginning of their love story. Young, pious, and dedicated. However, there were cracks even in its early years. In 2015, Josh's problematic past was exposed by shocking reports. Claims that would garner national attention. Disclosures that would erode public confidence. Anna stood in the center of everything, silent and unflinching. After then, there were controversies, arrests, the conviction, followed by the jail term. Anna prayed for him, visited him, and worked to keep the family together through it all. However, sources claim that she was breaking behind closed doors. We are told that she started to discreetly get ready over the past 2 years, talking to lawyers and therapists and keeping all of her documents, texts, and receipts. Not out of retaliation, but out of resolve. She was aware that she might have to defend her kids in a way she never would have thought possible. Today was that day. As stated. In this fictitious case, Anna is requesting primary custody of all 7 children, according to court documents our newsroom examined. Because she is worried about Josh Duggar's emotional health and the stability of the household, she has asked for limited visiting rights. In addition, she wants complete ownership of the marital assets, which include joint accounts, a few investments, and the family house. Josh's legal team has not released an official statement regarding this fictitious event. However, insiders indicate he will at least partially challenge the filing. This is more than just a divorce tonight. It's a reckoning. A woman who once defined herself solely via compliance is now defining herself via action. And by doing this, she makes it extremely evident to Josh and everyone else who ever questioned her strength. Now let's discuss the kids. They are toddlers to teenagers. They have lived in constant scrutiny. First on TV, then in scandal, and then in silence. They now confront an eternal universe. Altered. According to experts, youngsters who witness high-profile separations frequently go through phases of grieving. Confusion comes first, followed by dread and rage. However, kids can also develop resilience with help. According to reports, Anna has already set up professional counseling for the whole family. According to people close to Anna, she views this as a difficult beginning rather than the conclusion and the opportunity to start over in a different, more peaceful, honest, and most importantly, safe way. She intends to stay in Arkansas for the time being. Every interview request has been turned down by her. Her days were devoted to homeschooling, handling legal matters, and comforting her kids, the very people she is doing this for. Anna might not write a tell-all if this made-up story is accurate. She might never appear on TV again. However, she is using bravery, boundaries, and decisions to share her tale. She is now demonstrating strength by leaving a place that once praised her for remaining mute. The cameras are off tonight. It's quieter in the house. They're gentler cries. However, for the first time in ages, Anna Duggar is no longer merely getting by. She's starting to breathe. We'll keep an eye on this fake narrative as it develops and provide updates as they happen. We'll leave you with this for now. Anna's experience, whether genuine or imagined, serves as a reminder to all women who have been told that their voice is too quiet, their love is too loyal, and their hope is too innocent. Sometimes courage looks like staying, and other times it looks like leaving. The family portrait's narrative was much more nuanced than the frame it was placed in. Captured on a beach. The Duggar brood stood together in coordinating tan and white clothing, a palette that exuded tranquility, and washed in warm golden hues and lined with gently tides. Beneath the placid grins and striking symmetry, however, was a story of scandal, heartache, and loyalty put to the test by time and public scrutiny. Years had passed since Anna Duggar, the strong mother who stood silently by her children's sides, gave the public even a small peek into her personal life. The image that went viral, quietly on the internet before disappearing from the news, reappeared with a renewed sense of purpose after her husband, Josh Duggar, received a severe sentence. Once a symbol of pure family values, Josh, a former reality TV personality, plummeted in a spectacular way after being found guilty in 2021 of downloading child pornography. Earlier that year, he was arrested, which shocked fan communities and rekindled larger questions about the morality of public personas. Although the conviction garnered media attention, it was the information that persisted. Josh, who is currently 37, was only punished for the receiving charge but was found guilty of both receiving and having. During sentencing, the possession charge, which many people found to be just as horrible, was dropped, a decision that provoked discussions among legal professionals and organizations that support children. FCI Seagullville, a federal penitentiary facility in Texas, is where he started his prison sentence and is anticipated to stay until October 2, 2032. His 151-month sentence served as both the final result of legal proceedings, but the start of a protracted period of seclusion away from his wife, 7 kids, and the comfortable Arkansas house that used to be the setting for a large portion of his broadcast life. Additionally, the sentencing included terms that go far beyond incarceration. Josh will be on supervised probation for 20 years after his release. Unsupervised interaction with youngsters, including, tragically, his own children, is expressly forbidden. Madison, his youngest daughter, is especially noteworthy as she will be only 10 years old when he is anticipated to be released. A fact of life that clouds any hopes of normalcy in the Duggar household. Both praise and criticism have been leveled at Anna's steadfast presence throughout the developing drama. While some saw her allegiance as a terrible case of emotional captivity, others saw it as a sign of religious conviction and marital fidelity. Long after the sentencing, in the last weeks of 2024, TMZ photographers found Anna in Arkansas. In spite of the cultural, she continued to wear her wedding band, a subtle sign of commitment or possibly rebellion, despite the emotional impact. Raising her kids in the same conservative community that had initially made her family famous, she had mostly avoided the spotlight, opting for a life of quiet routine in the midst of turbulence. Once associated with organized life, religious fervor, and huge family dynamics, the Duggar name today elicits conflicting responses. The patriarch and matriarch of the family, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, still live in Arkansas. Both literally and symbolically, their presence is very noticeable. In order to concentrate on their other children, public speaking engagements, and religious community, the Duggar parents have refrained from making significant public statements over their son's incarceration. But Anna's silence says more than words can. She manages parenting with a quiet strength inside the confines of her humble house, keeping herself rooted via routines and faith. While some family members have cut ties with Josh, others continue to provide Anna with support through family meals, shared prayer circles, babysitting, private get-togethers, and modest gifts. These times of solidarity are frequently broken up by persistent media questions and critical remarks from internet discussion boards, many of which condemn Anna for remaining silent or blame her for staying. However, she hasn't made any shocking disclosures, dramatic TV interviews, or public statements. Her life also has a more subdued side that is rarely reported on: the mental burden she bears for of her offspring. Every one of the Duggar children has had to grow up under constant public attention. Anna tries to protect them from the legacy they never requested, now that their father's name is linked to one of the most disturbing atrocities in modern history. In retrospect, the family beach photo seems almost symbolic, a moment captured when, on the surface, everything was still intact. Legal professionals are still keeping an eye on Josh's case to evaluate how his probation is going, not to file an appeal. Will have an impact on the community he returns to in 2032. His relationships will be restricted to legally regulated settings due to restrictions on unsupervised contact with kids, which may have an impact on church and family events. Child advocacy organizations have applauded the ruling, stressing how crucial it is to safeguard those who are at risk, regardless of family relationships. Meanwhile, tangential tales about Duggar occasionally make a comeback in the news. For example, a sibling getting married, starting a business, or discussing their own journey away from the contentious legacy of the family. The recent controversy over Christine Brown's advice to Janelle following her breakup with Cody Brown indirectly reignited public interest in stories of women managing high-profile family breakups. Although the tone and setting of the Brown family tale are different, Anna's stoic perseverance is occasionally compared to it. The way stories are told is still influenced by the media's preoccupation with women who remain graceful in the face of treachery. As Anna's are described, frequently with judgment, sometimes with empathy. Years go by with questions still unresolved. Will Anna finally say something? Will there soon be a memoir? Will her kids be able to balance their private suffering with their public heritage? And what sort of father will Josh be permitted to become when he returns to society after more than 10 years in prison? For the time being, Anna lives her life in Arkansas in silence, loyalty, and a fortitude that neither makes headlines nor the paparazzi can capture it all. A memorial to a life that has faced incredible adversity, the beach shot is still hidden away in digital archives and possibly displayed in the corner of her living room. Otherwise,